Hello and welcome to another palette packed full of a splash of paint, brought to you in association with the SAA, Society for All Artists. Let's get started and take a closer look at what inspirational projects are coming up on today's programme. Versatile acrylic artist Terry Chipp returns to get interactive with modelling paste and paint. We take a quick look at how Winsor & Newton protect the quality of their pigments. Leading professional artist Jeremy Ford will be here in the studio to demonstrate how to use SAA soft pastels to paint a winter wonderland in today's Try Your Hand At project. I'll be sharing a few more of my simple tips and tricks to help develop your watercolour techniques. And spellbinding SAA professional artist Sharon Hurst shows how you can conjure up some magical effects using an SAA rake brush. So let's get cracking and welcome back versatile acrylic artist Terry Chipp as he demonstrates how to get interactive with modelling paste and paint.
What I'm going to show you today is how to use the modelling paste with a spatula and stencils, because what I can do is first of all create a simple background texture. This is all white on white, which is quite difficult to see, but I'm just skimming it on very thinly because I want to make an interesting background for the stencils that I'm going to put on in a moment. Because blank paper can always be improved. I've taken a very simple stencil, simple letter H, and I shall not use quite so much paste. If I put the letter on and then scrape the paste off it, like this, and just skim away, then I've got my letter indented into the background. That's all right. I do it again somewhere else. I can repeat it. I don't want to be too precise about this, again, because I like the chance effects that you get, where sometimes it shows an edge, sometimes it doesn't. Again, just pick that out. Another H there. I could do a few of those like that, scatter them around, maybe just a part of one. Do one up here, just the bottom part. Okay, and maybe the top part of one down here. Pick that off. And so we've got several H's embedded into that, so the surface stands out, the H is bedded in. Now, when I cut this out of the paper, obviously, it left a hole in the paper. So, I can use that to add another layer to this. This time, lay the stencil on and fill the shape. So we've got a raised letter H now rather than one that's been bedded in. Again, I'm not trying to trowel it smooth on the inside, but it's standing out nicely. Just pick up another bit there. Another one a little lower down perhaps. So using a very simple stencil, such as this H, I can create quite an interesting textured surface. Yeah. And that is an interesting surface, but being white on white, at the moment you can hardly see anything. I'll leave that to dry for a while, and then when I put a colour wash on, the whole design will become, hopefully, very visible. Now, the modelling paste has had a chance to dry, so the next step is to put some colour on to bring out those textures and see just what we've got. This is the really exciting part, because you never know what's there until this bit. To begin with, just so the colour will run smoothly across the surface, I'm just going to damp the surface of the paper a little. And that across, like so. And then we'll start with some colour. I'm going to take a little mix of yellow and green onto a piece of tissue and just loosely rub it all over. So, a bit more green in some places and rather more yellow in others. Let's see how it works out. Right. So there's a nice smudgy patch in the middle that's hidden most things. And the next step is to clean that off and see what we've got left. So I'm going to start with the lighter areas rather than the darker ones. That means they will stay lighter. If I go into the dark first, it will just make everything dull. So I'm just lifting off the excess paint here. Try to give myself a much smoother surface than I had before. I'll come into the darker areas, take off these greens. That looks fine. And then, to reveal the design, I'm going to damp the tissue. Squeeze a lot of the water out. I don't want it too wet. And then as I rub over the top, I should start to pick up the colour, take the colour off the peaks of what we had. Just wetting it all over to help to loosen it. Take some of that off. And then again dampen the tissue and take some right back to the white now. It's really lighten some areas up. And decide, once you've got this design in place, you can decide yourself where you want the lighter parts to be, where you want the darker parts to be. Some parts will stand out as being rather more interesting, so you work on those to bring them up. Other parts you want to just let drift away into shadow. And then if I very quickly dry this off, you can see that we've got a design there, which, quite by chance, I've already signed. So you can see that here we've added the colour and that has settled into the nooks and crannies. It can be wiped off the surfaces to reveal the design.
Interesting effect there, Terry. Great technique for adding texture and layers of paint to your final works of art. Now, have you ever wondered what light fast ratings mean on your paints? Well, let's take a quick look at what Winsor & Newton can do to protect the quality of their pigments and support those artists who are serious about producing paintings of the highest quality.
This is our Q-Sun xenon light tester, which is actually an ultraviolet light tester, which accelerates the effects of being in normal sunlight. We use this to test light fastness of all our pigments. So any pigments that we're looking at to incorporate into Winsor & Newton range are actually tested in this piece of machinery to make sure that they're fully light fast. I've actually got a few tests here of some pigments that we've tested. As you can see with this red and yellow, the pigment's darkened on the test area, and with this ultramarine violet we can see that it's actually bleached a bit on the test area. So these would be pigments that we wouldn't consider suitable for a Winsor & Newton range.
So there you have it, folks. It's basically a simple indication of how pigment will react when exposed to light over a period of time. Some colours will lighten and fade, whilst others may darken and turn grey, resulting in a painting that looks dramatically different from when it was originally created. The British lightfastness system uses a rating from 1 to 8. Ratings from 1 to 3 mean the colour is likely to change over a period of 20 years. Ratings of between 4 and 5 mean the colour's lightfastness is fair and there should be no change between 20 and 100 years. A rating of 6 is very good and a rating of 7 or 8 is excellent, though you'll probably not live long enough to see any change. On that cheerful note, folks, it's time to take a little break now, but join us in part 2 when leading professional artist Sharon Hurst will be here in the studio to demonstrate how to paint a winter wonderland in SAA soft pastels in today's Try Your Hand At project. See you soon.